into the view, them bitches around there losing their mind because Barbara Wobble be mad at them. Excuse me. What's her name? Whoopi? You done went too far. What's the other lady name who look like Bette Midler but not Bette? Is it Joey? Joel? Or Joe? Somebody? You talk too much. And you, girl, close your legs to married men. Because Barbara Wobble be mad at them. Excuse me. What's her name? Whoopi? You done went too far. What's the other lady name who look like Bette Midler but not Bette? Is it Joey? Joel? Or Joe? Somebody? You talk too much. And you, girl, close your legs to married men. I told you that Donna Ross basically went to Arnie. You need to take that chalet back from Philippa because that's my chalet. Okay, we married now. I don't give a fuck about that bitch. That's her problem. Okay, she need to marry her another millionaire and get her another chalet. Well, hello there, love bugs. Hello there, bellas. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share to Facebook, subscribe, and visit uptopbeauty.com. Today's looky would be our Layana Bangle. And if you are not already a part of our book club, hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube. And for a small monthly fee of $5, you babies, yes you, can be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. Now, we about to wrap this up. We are wrapping up. Child, look, I done lost the front cover. But what's it called? Call Her Miss Ross. The unauthorized biography by, let's see if I can say it right for the last time. Oh, let's do this. Okay. J. Randy Taraborrelli. Really? Sorry. At the time of the Motown sale, Diana Ross found herself without a record deal. Her contract with RCA had expired and neither she nor the company was willing to renew it. In February 1989, Diana re-signed with Motown Records. It's like the queen returning home, observed Gerald Busby, the new company president. But without Berry Gordy at the helm of Motown, Diana Ross' return somehow seemed anticlimactic. Her fans yearned to have the two working together again, making the magic happen like they did in the 60s and 70s. But that's just not possible. It's not. You cannot use the same formula from the 60s and 70s now in the 80s, about to be 90s. You can't do that. So unlike the time she signed with RCA and her recording career was at a peak, when she re-signed with Motown, she did not receive a multi-million-dollar check. Instead, she was given an unspecified amount of stock in Motown as an incentive to sign. By becoming a stockholder, she helped fulfill the 20% minority ownership specified by Berry Gordy in the sale to MCA.
Diana and her husband seem happy in their marriage, even though they do not spend much time with each other because of their conflicting schedules. When she is not living in the Greenwich home, she is with Arnie in the former Chalet Philippa in Switzerland or in their London apartment.
Remember I told you that Donna Ross basically went to Arnie, you need to take that chalet back from Philippa because that's my chalet. Okay, we married now. I don't give a fuck about that bitch. That's her problem. Okay, she need to marry her another millionaire and get her another chalet. Because as of right now, that chalet belong to me. Or us. Our marriage is not an ordinary one, Arnie has said. We're too busy. It's more like an exciting and intense love affair. I could believe that. Diana is still extremely protective of her relationship with Arnie, especially where his former wife, Felipa, is concerned. Whereas Felipa and Arnie used to meet privately on occasion to discuss family business, Diana now insists on being present at all the meetings. She also insists that Felipa come around with an escort. Though Diana and Philippa have led entirely different lives, one pursued her career while the other had to give up hers for her husband and children, the two do share the belief that they were both dealt with unfairly by the important men in their lives. Certainly the fact that Diana complained about having only a few $100,000 to her name after leaving Motown would indicate that she felt just as cheated by Barry as Philippa feels about Arnie today. But Diana Ness will never make the mistake Philippa Ness made. She would never allow Arnie to be the center of her attention in her life. When Suzanne DePaz appeared on the Pat Sajak show in May 1989, wait a minute, the Wheel of Fortune guy had his own TV show? When Suzanne DePaz appeared on the Pat Sajak show in May 1989, Sajak asked her who the biggest pain in her neck was for her to work with. I was thinking about another part of the anatomy, DePaz quipped. But as long as we're talking about pains, I'd have to say, pound for pound, Diana Ross. What's the biggest misconception about you? Barbara Walters asked Diana 2 months earlier in a nationally televised interview. That I'm a bitch. Barbara nodded her head. Now, why do you think that? Why do ... Diana cut her off. She is much more ready for this interview with Barbara Wobber than she was the other interview with Barbara Wobber. Because remember, she was all nervous. Oh, the room ain't right after the Barbara Walters people came in to make sure that they had the correct lighting to go with the room that they was going to interview her in. And then, Diana Ross got all, anxious and nervous. And she like, no, this isn't right. And painted the whole fucking room. Okay. Because she was like, oh, it's not right. I want it to be right for Barbara Wobber. Okay. Not understanding that lighting is important. Diana cut her off. She suddenly became defensive. Because I'm like you, she said, pointing at Walters and raising her voice just a little. I have standards. You have a way you want to run your business. I have standards, she repeated. I have a way that I think works. I request that in my presence, although Barbara did not ask Diana to elaborate on those standards, she went on, okay? And she went on to say all the things that made her a diva, okay? We already knew this. And I'm sure Barbara Wobber is the same way. I know around there to the view, them bitches around there losing their mind because Barbara Wobber be mad at them. Excuse me. What's her name? Whoopi? You done went too far. What's the other lady name who looked like Bette Midler but not Bette? Is it Joey? Joel or Joe? Somebody? You talk too much. And you, girl, close your legs to married men.
In the years after her Dream Girl memoirs, Murray Wilson has been fighting an uphill battle for recognition. First, she lost her legal battles against Berry Gordy and Motown Records. The court ruled that indeed Gordy, not Wilson, owned the name Supremes. Then after losing the lawsuit, Murray had the poor judgment to impersonate Diana Ross in a Canadian revue called Beehive. In the impression, she and 2 other women sang Supreme's hits and wore the same gowns the groups wore over 20 years ago. Mary popped her eyes and oozed phony sincerity, all the while acting like a caricature, Diana Ross puppet. Surely, for Wilson, this was the ultimate career irony. After Beehive, Mary attended Diana Ross's opening night performance at the Universal Amphitheater in Los Angeles, accompanied by her 14-year-old daughter, Turkessa. Following the show, she went backstage to visit the star. Why would you do that?
You know Diana Ross don't like you, but the baby, Turkessa, is supposed to be Diana Ross's godchild, okay? Following the show, she went backstage to visit the star. Learning of Mary's presence there, Diana refused to come out of her dressing room. The message, as relayed through her bodyguards, I want her out of here. Mary asked one of Diana's representatives if Diana would at least see Terkessa, her own goddaughter. But godmother and daughter have never been close. Diana could count the times she and the girl had seen each other on one hand. She must have thought that Mary was using this girl as bait, that she would go to any extreme to provoke an altercation with the other dream girl, just for the sake of national publicity it would garner. Is Mary Wilson so naive that she actually believes she and Diana are friends even after the book? Yeah, I believe that she made sure that her baby was going to be the godchild to Diana Ross because she knew there was a speeding train coming. And if she couldn't get on it, she wanted to make sure that her baby got on it. How do you like that for all you Mary Wilson fans? Rather than just go back to her home she purchased with Dream Girl royalties, Mary decided to try to attend the private Diana Ross after party at Spago restaurant in Hollywood. Unfortunately, her name had not magically appeared on Ross's guest list, and she was turned away at the door. So is that Diana Ross' fault? That this girl dumb? She dumb enough to think that she can get into a party after you done wrote a goddamn tell-all book about Diana Ross? I was so embarrassed, Mary later said. Friends should be able to talk. I hope Diana will call me so we can talk this thing out, whatever it is. Whatever it is, bitch, you wrote a book about her. Okay? Now, I ain't mad about the book because it did give the tea. It did. Today, Diana is in much the same situation. Though signing the multi-million-dollar pact with RCA Records gave her the financial security she craved and deserved after leaving Motown with a few $100,000 that I can actually put my hands on, Diana's new deal reaped few benefits for her commercially. She's a major star and dependable concert draw, not because of any songs she recorded at RCA, but because of her stellar Motown past and the irresistible allure of her celebrity. I would agree. Because if I go, I want to hear everything Motown. Now, RCA, I mean, yeah, you could throw in, My Endless Love, Missing You, okay? You can throw them in too, but I come there for the Motown hits. Diana Ross' 1989 Return to Motown album, Working Overtime, is a typical example of the kind of self-imposed miscalculation of both image and musical style that has placed her recording career in jeopardy. One of y'all has sent me a video of Working Overtime. I forgot completely about the song, okay? It wasn't until one of y'all sent me the video over there on IG. I don't know your name, baby. I'm sorry. But one of y'all sent me the video, and I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that. But why is she dressed like Whitney Houston? It was like, no, you can't do that. When Whitney Houston had on the biker jacket, the torn jeans, some boots, and a wife beater, it was good, because she was young and, free and, I don't know, dating Bobby Brown then, I'm not sure. But for royalty, like Diana Ross to be in a biker jacket, a wife beater, and torn jeans, come on. Girl, you are good in catsuits and leotards. That's what Beyonce wear all the time, catsuits and leotards. Except for when she promoting that Ivy Park and Adidas stuff, okay? That's when she wears sweatsuits and sneakers and shit like that. But when she on stage, it's catsuits and leotards. Radio City Music Hall, Saturday, June 17th, 1989, The Midnight Show. Miss Ross does not want anyone to be seated during her first number, came the announcement. If you do not sit now, you will miss the opening song. Everyone took his seats obediently. The lights dimmed. Suddenly, she materialized at the back of the Radio City Music Hall to strains of Michael Jackson's hit, Dirty Diana. Immediately, the cheering audience rose. With two menacing-looking security guards flanking her, she rushed down the aisle of the theater, the bright spotlight following her. Running towards the stage, she adjusted the lavender coke feathered cape to make certain that it billowed out behind her for just the right dramatic effect. That's what I'm saying now. That's fucking Diana. That lady man in that motorcycle jacket, that wife beater, and them torn up jeans, and I don't know what kind of boots they was. I don't know. Western, I don't know what kind of boots they was. Okay? I don't know who that was. That was Whitney Houston. But the lady that we just talking about is coming out of the aisles with hair and feathers flapping. Now that's the Diana. Diana Ross was back in town. It was easy to forget that she was 45 years old and the mother of 5 children. From I'm coming out and upside down to the man I love and reach out and touch somebody's hand, the audience would be uncritical and adoring. Conspicuously missing was the elaborate staging of earlier days. The backup was minimal, and so were her introductions. The band members all seemed to lack last names. With 29 songs in less than 2 hours, it would be a breathless, generous performance. I remember when I used to do these songs without sweating, she said with a self-deprecating grin. Loyal fans, including now traditional transvestites. You can't say transvestites no more. That's not politically correct. You got to say trans women. Loyal fans, including now traditional trans women dressed to outglitz the star herself, danced in the aisle to the sheer delight of the audience during Diana's costume changes. Were the impersonators hired by Ross? I don't think so. Or was it coincidence that they were there each night? Child, they were there each night. Oh, no, then they might have been hired by Ross just for the entertainment, during the costume changes. That's smart. Down front, 2 admirers showed a bit more enthusiasm than Diana deemed necessary. Singing is love, they kept demanding. Finally, she hissed at them through clenched teeth. Will you sit down and be quiet? She kept smiling as she did it, and people beyond the first 2 rows couldn't hear every word. But even if the entire audience had heard, it still wouldn't matter. Diana Ross is expected to be haughty, become part of her persona. I told you to just wait. Sit down and wait, she scolded the 2 disruptive fans. I mean it. Whitney Houston was in the audience, and Diana called her onto stage. I want to tell you all, don't you believe one word about what you have read about us. Diana said sincerely, it's just not true, not one word. She's referring to the Vanity Fair feature about her in which Lynn Hirschberg reported she was obsessed and jealous of Houston's fame. The entire article, most of which was quite flattering, upset Diana. How is a star supposed to protect her mystique with reporters like Hirschberg running wild? Whitney Houston looked awed, almost stricken, as Diana embraced her. The applause was loud and full as the queen kissed the princess on the cheek and sent her back to her seat. The audience cheered its approval. Great singers like Whitney Houston are commonplace, but divas like Diana Ross are rare. Well, we see when this book was written, Whitney Houston definitely died. A diva, a legendary diva. Finally, the pair of disobedient ringsiders got their wish. Diana sang Endless Love. When Diana Ross now appears, people do not come to see a concert. They come to bask in the presence of a goddess. Glory, glory, if I ain't never heard the truth before in my life. It's a quasi-religious experience. Over the last 30 years, Diana Ross has evolved into someone who is more illusion than substance. She seems to realize this, but rather than allow it to frighten her or concern her, she enjoys it. She knows that she barely has to do. Mostly, she just has to be. Diana Ross Nace is a rich woman who could easily retire to her romantic Tahitian island after 3 decades in the spotlight glare. But despite the rigors of life on the road, a challenging marriage, and raising 5 children, she continues to tour the world. More than anything, she loves to entertain. A consummate performer, she is also among the world's most glamorous women. It's easy to respect her accomplishments and enjoy her talents. Perhaps the real challenge, not only to the casual observer, but maybe even to the lady herself, lies in determining where the legend that is Miss Ross ends and the woman who is just Diana begins. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share to Facebook, subscribe, and visit Uptop Beauty. These bangles are on sale. Now, remember, the same people that you meet on the way up will always be the same people that you meet on the way down. My naysayers, my patron loves. You babies, have a good one. Get that booster, y'all.